Hello everyone, it's Justin Dawson, and back from Infocomm 2025. Were you over there? Did you miss out? Well, if you are listening to this program, I always recommend that you view the YouTube channel for all Things TechIE Podcast. It makes more sense as we were over in Orlando doing the trade show floors and interviewing a lot of people. These episodes are sponsored by Vizrt and Nareva, who sponsored the All Things TechIE Podcast at Infocomm 2025. Please like, comment, share and subscribe, and we hope you like the programs. It is the last day at Infocomm 2025. Thanks to the guys at Vizrt for sponsoring the All Things TechIE Podcast out at Infocomm 2025. I'm with Austin. You know, Austin, I've been doing live streaming for the past, well, I used to do an internet radio station on scouting. That started in 2005. After 19 years and then having a family, I had to close it down. I had too much going on. But, you know, I've always loved the TriCasters that have gone bigger, better, slicker, better streams. Like I remember, like back in my days of doing recordings and streaming it, I was streaming it out on Skype into a platform. You know, remember Skype? Yeah, that's gone. So, give us a bit of a history of Vizrt and TriCaster.
I mean, I go back with TriCaster for about 15 years, so it's definitely grown. It's fit in different markets or for user capabilities. Going from someone that does podcasts, radio shows, all the way up to live productions that are in large stadiums that are global. It's definitely something that's been great use case, and how we integrate with other platforms has definitely been a cool thing to see as the TriCasters continue to grow.
Mm-hmm. Now, talk us through, you have broken up your booth here at Infocomm into different sections, whether it be esports, whether it be education, whether it be the live streaming environment, like the big studios, and right down to the small. So what have you got to show me?
So primarily we have TriCasters at every pod here, but we kind of break it up into the corporate communications, education, sports and esports, and then broadcast. So all of our tools and solutions can work in all of those scenarios, but we have it broken down to show different types of environments. How you're going to use a TriCaster in the workspace. We think about hybrid work instances when somebody's in an office, but there's other people that are coming in from their homes. How do we bring everything into a central location? We want to showcase the same thing that people see on site, but also at home. The TriCaster kind of brings everything into that central location, and we can distribute out to audio, comms, the stream, the recording, the video playback. It's really neat of how you can operate that, and you don't have to be an expert level operator. You just have a couple buttons you need to turn on, allocate instances to, and then
I think it was during COVID, and I know we always go back to this, but it's when during COVID that people just realized that we can do this, whether it be education, whether it be corporate environment, that we have to be able to do this hybrid approach. We have to, and then I always say for education, I'm working in a clinical education center and clinical skills, we're doing a mini broadcast here, guys. We're multi-streaming different cameras into, for the students in breakout rooms, seeing medical procedures, training and everything. So I always hate when people often say, "Oh, the IT guy." No, we're doing a broadcast here, guys.
Absolutely. And it makes everything so much more simple of having everything in a central location, as opposed to I need to go grab this and add this element. If I want to do graphics, I have to get another box, another computer. If you have everything right in front of you, it makes it so easy to do those live scale, big scale productions from a central location. So it's real cool.
So, have you got new stuff here? Let's have a look.
So we have a couple new things here. At this pod in particular, we have the TriCaster Mini. You want to get a TriCaster into your workflow, but maybe you don't have enough space if you're working from home. You can take the TriCaster software and put it onto your own laptop or to your own hardware device. Another thing that we do have now is the Zoom integration. So you can bring in callers from Zoom and take isolated inputs, bring that into your production, You can do digital signage from Zoom using our HTML5 solution called Viz So this would be something that you can put onto a meeting room, showcasing what the agenda is of the day, who's going to be presenting, and all this information is extracted from Zoom and placed into a graphic overlay. We also have the Viz Connect audio. So if you want to utilize audio that's analog and bring that into NDI, you can use this into a central location and have this with NDI bridge connected to various locations. So you're thinking of comms, you're thinking of people speaking from different locations, and you want to have that into your central production. That's where the Connect audio comes in. So everything that we have in this flavor, in this environment, all speaks to each other.
You touched on a lot of things there, Austin, like the Viz University. So like you have a platform for people to learn how to use all the TriCaster software, free of charge, of course, to get into. You know, does the software work on a license basis or?
Yes. So if you're going to be downloading the software, you can do a perpetual license, or you can just do a flat out fee to purchase it, and you have it on. You get your updates, you get your support. We do support those, and we train you on how you can utilize that. We also have teams like managed services that can set up your type of workflow. If you're doing a corporate environment, you want this type of look, we have a team that can set up those templates for you, and you just...
Like, I love what you have here as a sample.
Yeah.
You know, this is to explain to our viewers here. You know, you have the ticker going across the bottom, you have your little flag for Infocomm 2025. You have you're bringing 3 or 4 people as a multi-view. Underneath your control panel, you have what's preview and what's live. You have all your separate inputs going into it. Of course, like showing your adaptability. Of course, you have there a Stream Deck on top of the TriCaster. You can use that. Yeah.
Hit a button and it does what you want it to do.
Yeah. Like there's a lot to be said about the Stream Decks. Like I use them at home for my podcast as well. But like getting to the bread and butter of the TriCaster Flex, like when you look at it at first, you go, "Way, that's a lot of buttons." Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely something you can grow with. But if you're familiar with, pushing physical buttons, having your own customized setup with the Flex makes it really cool because everyone has a different preference when you're doing these types of production. And if it's something like corporate, ideally you may not have a person that has a production background. This is something that you can easily customize a template to say, all right, we need to do this recording, we need to stream this show, I need those buttons right in front of me. Yeah. Utilizing the Flex gives you that power.
So like how many inputs on the Flex and like what so many combinations I can imagine.
So you can go up to the largest model of the TriCaster and use the bank to switch between your inputs. But on the display right here, you'll have 16 going across. And being this is NDI capable, you can plug this in to your location at home into your network. Just have a laptop monitor connected to a TriCaster, and you're up
and running. Like, your example is absolutely perfect. Like through the TriCaster, like I know you have here, you have a PTZ camera.
Yep.
Now I'm guessing like you could set it to AI capabilities and tracking capabilities, but can you do the tracking all on the TriCaster as well?
You can control. There's a thumbstick and a rocker if you want to control your PTZ in real time, or if you want to set camera presets, you can recall them directly from the.
Yeah, like that is an all-in-one system. Exactly. That's your main.
That's right.
The biggest of the set, or can you go bigger than that?
You can go bigger than that with the Flex Dual. So you take this, you double it, you have more control. For the larger scale productions, that's something that would be more of an ideal use case. But for this type of environment and workflow with this communication, it's amazing.
Like it's the actual quality of the streams coming in from Zoom and everything. Yeah.
And we're at a trade show.
And you're at a trade show.
Everybody's using network connectivity here. So
So Justin Miller here at Vizrt.
Oh, 2 Justins doing streams and podcasts.
J squared.
J squared. Hey, that's a good name for a podcast right there.
Hey, so thanks for joining me here at the Vizrt booth. This is the ultimate live production hub. So here we have everything.
That's some size build up from across the way.
This will do everything but bake you a casserole. But we're working on that with the NDI technology in place. So the Flex Dual is our latest iteration of control panels. Obviously completely optional, but there's a lot of individuals that want that tactile feedback when it comes to video switcher operation. So the beauty here and the elegance is, of course, these are digital stripes. So when you're marrying this together with one of our flagship TriCaster platforms, whether it's the Vision, our largest on-prem solution, or Vector, our largest in the cloud iteration of TriCaster, I can easily change what digital stripe I'm actively influencing on the TriCaster interface on the fly.
Wow, okay.
So that means I can run my program switcher here, and then I can toggle between my mix effect buttons here, which will allow me to do things like do my quad box effects, and then through comms recall, bring in double box, and push back to a picture-in-picture. All of this just at the press of a button. But also, I can flip out. I can drive an output routing matrix, for example. So now my video switcher operator is driving my overflow wall, my digital signage, whether that's in the room or in a different part of the wing, across the country via things like India Bridge. So that's amazing. Also, my favorite feature here is I can put this in macro mode, and I no longer have to do hold macro, press a button. I can one button push, because I love automation. That's my bread and butter here. So that is outstanding. We have a couple of analog connections here on the back, so you have comms and talkback through NDI, through your panel. Beyond that, we also have our brand new Connect Audio. I know Austin already gave you a little bit of feedback on that, but we have 8-channel mixed input. So that's XLR quarter inch. You get per channel phantom power enablement. We have channel A and B XLR stereo pairs out the back. That means I can take NDI from anything and feed it out into an analog source. So that's outstanding. We, of course, get that live VU meters. I mean, you can see I got hot mics here on the booth. Dangerous. But then we also have the ability to solo any of those sources, so we can have the confidence that we are hearing and sending when appropriate. So this is everything live production. I would love to get more into the automation side of things, but I don't think we quite have the time. I will show you one thing that's tried and true here is we have our live panel-based web interface. I always talk about how sophisticated these things can be, how complex and integrated, deeply integrated this can be. But we can also simplify all of that and never have to even look at this video switcher front end. I mean, we can come in and just set up a custom macro path where I just want to ready up my remote callers and integrate them with our local presenters, and it's a very basic switcher platform here. So we can present this to any operator in whatever capacity we so choose. I mean, this is just scratching the surface of distributed control and delegating responsibilities within TriCaster. So I'd love to hear more from you. Miller at Vizrt.com. Thanks for stopping by.
I'm here with Chris Burgos, and he was just off mic. We were talking about TriCasters in education, and that's going to be big, and we're going to talk about that and get some stuff going with hether as well.
Yes.
But here we have the esports area.
Yes.
Now, esports, it's just, Chris, it's getting bigger in Ireland now. We have a whole live streaming environment and esports centre down in County Cork in the west coast of Ireland. I'm still getting used to the whole area of esports. I know it's big in America.
Yes.
But like the example there, I see some GAA football there, Gaelic football going on there. So that just shows you what I was just talking about. It's good that just came up just in the background. I didn't plan that out at all.
We did not, no. I think it's interesting because in the EU, it's one of the epicenters of what today is what esports is, with things like ESL. So it's getting a resurgence. When it came stateside, I think there was a lot of big pieces to it, and a lot of that's the presentation. We have a particular level of sports presentation on TV, but the esports guys really wanted to deviate and make their own. And so what we see is a lot of unique styles of presentation where we're highlighting individuals, we're highlighting teams, but we're doing something that's a little bit deeper. And it speaks to a whole new generation. I think there's a lot more people who are in that space, and being able to provide them something that is a path forward, as well as, most of the people who work esports productions are former players. When I was with MLG, I can tell you, while these people had their traditional names they were born with, everyone went by their tags.
Yes.
And it's just a different world. People don't recognize that their social media managers come from playing. Their content providers come from playing.
That's
this
right.
is such a major space. And so as it crosses back into the EU and as it's hitting, different parts in Ireland, I think we're going to start to see all pieces that are unique. In the States, certain things emerged, but certain scenes didn't flourish. But that's not going to be the same.
Like I love what some of the overlays here. You have rings around the players. You can have all these overlays going on. You have swimming. You have Olympics. You have the gaming. You have Formula One, and of course the Vizrt logo just at the basics. But like down below, You have your control panels, how long each clip is going to be. Once again, a bigger stream deck, and then you have your Lenovo pads as well.
So content creators working with Vizrt, we want to provide any kind of control. So we've highlighted before the stream deck, right? We're real big fans of what they're doing in Elgato and Corsair. It's an amazing thing that we see people who are using Twitch in the pandemic now have grown up, they want to do bigger productions, but we want to provide them something they're used to. And then Vizrt is always working with best in brand for computers and manufacturers, and so partnering with a company like Lenovo for some of our new products, like our new sports analysis tool. This is the Libero Go, or something we're using for remote production, like the Tetra. We are trying to always provide the best environment for you guys to succeed, which means we have to work with some of the best partners.
And it's all about the software as well, Chris, that goes behind this. Like you, again, there you have your
this is our replay environment. So this software is taking IP feeds in. It could be your traditional sports or esports. We're able to cut, trim, and do all those things really quickly. We have always been big in the software space, whether it's in our replay environments, whether it's in our sports analysis, with data-driven for virtual arenas, whether it's in our production spaces, being able to do something like 44 channels of 4K, being able to do something like AI.
44 channels of 4K.
That can only happen when you have a big software base. And we want to provide them with all the kinds of tools that they need, whether that's data-driven graphics, going off of something like HTML5, where that's really big, coming out of the Twitch space and things like that. Or what we do at the high levels of sports, where we're augmenting in AR and providing environments where, it is so realistically done. It is designed to just fool the mind. And so Vizrt really has this big ecosystem of clients, and we're actually now making this more and more available to our colleges and our high schools. And that's a big push for us, is that we take this technology we traditionally see at the high level and actually make it available for teachers, students, to really change the landscape. Once you have the tools, now what are you guys going to do with it? That's really important.
Again, thank you for showing us the esports. If people want to get in touch with you and find out more about the esports and what things can be done.
Sure. Vizrt.com. We have all types of content on there. And if you want to speak with me, there's actually a little button at the bottom. You can say, hey, I saw Chris in the video. They will put you in contact with me.
That's awesome. See, I love this interactive environment on websites for how to get in contact with the team, and then instantly you get a ticket probably to say, go talk to this guy.
I work with so many organizations in this space, the top names, colleges, high school clubs, houses of worship. For me, it is a passion. I love that it is a way forward because the playing field is leveled.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who you are, you can get involved with that environment, and then we can tell these amazing stories, and that's what it really is for me. My path, as we were talking about before, is I learned production in college.
Yes.
And then I started to work in the space, and I got lucky that I got a break in the esports space.
Apart from when we worked in college, we were working off, if we're lucky, 720p streams
Yes.
going through Skype.
480.
And 480, yeah. Some of my earliest videos is so pixelated that is good, because at least now you don't see the age difference in my face,
Yeah, if you showed somebody today what we used to work with, they would wonder how old the technology is.
I remember staying up 24 hours, trying to edit streams to get out on live streams on pre-production.
Rendering a 3D clip, forget it. You leave
Yes.
it on forever. It was just a very different world, and that's for me. That's what I'm saying. Getting the tools into the hands of this new content creation generation. It's just going to change what we were used to. There's just a whole new world, whether it's social media, 9x16. These are things where we're breaking the molds of the traditions, and I really like to see what comes out of them.
Yeah, and we're old enough to remember editing film when it was film.
Actually, splicing,
and not trying to lose something, or even just editing on the old versions of Final Cut, where you're where is that piece of audio coming from where you can't find it?
Things have come a long way, and now we have these tools all the way in handheld devices.
Yes.
So it's amazing to see that kind of growth.
Yeah, and also the social media and how easy it is to do it now with this type of content.
I look at a social media creator coming into what we're doing and seeing what they can do more with.
Yeah.
We also look at the other side of this, which is how easy those tools are to use, and we are always getting influences into our software so that someone coming from that pipeline has something that they can understand and then grow with.
And the interactiveness of this live stream. Chris, thank you so much. Okay, and finally we're at the education area of Vizrt. I'm with Van. Van, I was saying earlier in this that education, people don't realize they always cast the AV guy as the IT guy, and don't get the whole concept that like what we're doing, even in a medical field, in a clinical skilled environment, we're doing a mini broadcast.
That's right.
Yeah. So tell us, what have you got on the educational front for the TriCaster?
We have several ways to bring education into or broadcast into education. We have a live production switcher here. This is the TriCaster. There's now a software-only version. It uses NDI for inputs. And then we're also looking at solutions that don't require a control room. So we have CaptureCast. It's our lecture capture system here. This integrates with already existing education platforms like Panopto or Kaltura. The idea here is that the professor walks into a classroom, the cameras swivel into position automatically at the scheduled time, start recording, start streaming. If they have their PowerPoint presentation plugged in, then the text is automatically recognized and available for students to...
So there you have the two cameras, and it's in start mode. You can get it to do the presenter and then the stop mode as well. That's awesome.
And this is the web GUI. So if a teacher wants to be able to manually start and stop recordings, they can easily remote into it just through the browser and start their own recordings. If they have a TriCaster, we can even macro starting and stopping recordings with either the control surface or just a regular Stream Deck.
But what I like about the GUI is like it's so straightforward that could be put on any computer, that could be put on any. I'm guessing the APIs as well can be put into any, whether it be Crestron, whether it be Extron or so forth.
Right. And one thing that's great about this interface is you can have different levels of access. So your IT department will be able to manage every room, but if you want to give a professor a little bit of control over their own room, you can make a separate account or separate user with separate privileges.
Can you, again, obviously, I think the answer is yes. You could have, I know you showed two cameras in position, but you could have multiple cameras, as many sources as you wanted.
So at the highest level, it can ingest six feeds, but that's distributed between those three rooms.
Yes,
divided up between those three rooms.
I can see a lot of examples where that could be, like, forget even lecture theatres or classroom environments. If you're doing it in a medical or clinical skill simulation environment, that you have the three mannequins, the three simulation areas, and you can just control that off one GUI. Yeah.
Right, and those NDI feeds are streamed simultaneously. It's not like with the TriCaster. With the TriCaster, you have someone running a very traditional, TD role, switching between cameras. But with the CaptureCast, every camera that is being used in a room, or every camera or PowerPoint presentation coming in over NDI, they're recorded and broadcast simultaneously. So the students can go into the website and pick which feed they're watching at the largest size at a time.
And again, we have to reiterate: there's plenty of training in your academy for all these, whether you're Esports, education, whether you're doing corporate. Go on to Vizrt's website and do some of the training. I want to do some of this training.
Yep, that'll be Viz University.
Viz University.
Viz University.
Great. If people want to get more in touch with you, Van, on the education front, how do they contact you?
You can reach out to me at vwebster@vizrt.com.
Thank you for tuning in to All Things TechIE Podcast, part of the Extreme Media Network. Follow us on Twitter at AVTechJunkies. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch our show on YouTube by visiting youtube.com/@Justin_or_Dawson. Previous episodes of our show can be found on our official site, www.allthingstech.ie. For advertising and sponsorship opportunities, please visit www.extrememedia.ie.